Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this mini masterclass where we're going to cover the exact 4 steps you need to take to create an irresistible offer that your prospects won't be able to say no to. Sound good? Now, if you're just launching or you're wanting to scale a coaching business, this next 15 minutes will be a game changer for you. So I'm grateful that you're taking the time to listen and to better your business, and I hope that I can provide as much value in as little time as possible. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Dominique, and since 1999, our company has helped thousands of small businesses generate leads and sales online. And I can tell you that it is simple, but it is not easy. And maybe you've experienced that, where you've built this awesome website only to hear crickets, and now you're back to relying on just referrals. Or how many times has someone seemed interested in your service, but just not enough to move forward? It's frustrating, right? Well, what I can promise is that by the end of this training, you're going to have the blueprint to cut right through that noise. So you'll be able to actually inspire your prospects to action by showing them the most clear-cut path to their goals using your service. And you'll also be able to ethically charge more by productizing your service and using a technique called value stacking. So let's jump right into the meat. If you don't have the worksheet up, you can download it in the link below, but we're going to start right with step 1, which is the brain dump. So we want to look at what are all the little pieces of the puzzle that someone needs to achieve the outcome that they're looking for. What is their ideal outcome? So we go deeper in this on another module, that ideal outcome. But in short, I want you to focus not just on your product, service, or features, but what's the result that someone hopes to achieve by working with you? Kind of what is the big picture problem that you're solving for them? Maybe it's getting their first 1,000 followers. Maybe it's fixing a relationship. Maybe it's being ready for retirement. Whatever it is, what is that actual ideal outcome that someone wants to achieve by working with you? Now, so for this mini masterclass, we're going to use the example of a fitness coach, Coach Biff. So the ideal outcome that he chose was weight loss. Now, he could have chose a lot of different things. It could have been gaining muscle. It could have been getting better at sports, but he laser focused on the one most impactful and meaningful outcome for his dream customers. So this exercise works better the more narrow that you go. So once you have that in mind, you want to piece it out to what's every single piece of the puzzle? What are all the different things that contribute to them achieving that result? Okay, so you can see Biff, he put in here some things like weight training, cardio, obviously diet, meal prepping, building habits, staying motivated, overcoming self-sabotage. So you can see he's looking a little bit wider than just, hitting it strong at the gym. And what are really all the different things that help someone move from A to B? Okay, so once you have that, we're going to move into step 2. All right, so in step 2, we're going to look at all the related problems, and then we're going to turn them into valuable solutions. So you as the expert, right, you know that if a client was to do all of these steps, that they would get the result, right? But still, we're human, so we have different challenges, roadblocks, things that keep us from doing these, right? So we can look at Biff's example. He came up with some things like, I don't like going to the gym. I struggle to stay consistent with my diet. I can't remember what supplements to take. I'm always self-sabotaging. So again, look at each single one of these pieces and try to brainstorm what are all the problems that come up for people. Why don't they accomplish this? What's in their way of achieving this? And the reason why we're going so deep into the problems here is because really these problems are an opportunity to create valuable solutions, which we're going to do now. But first, we're going to look at the value equation. What does value mean, right? Everyone talks about that. So this equation is just here to help illustrate. So on the top half, we have the ideal outcome. So what is that ideal outcome? We've already defined how meaningful it is, right? The more meaningful, the more valuable, right? Doubling your business is more meaningful than getting your grass cut. Okay. On the other side of the top half, so times, we have probability. What is the likelihood that they're going to achieve this outcome using your service, right? Obviously, the more likely that we make it, the more valuable our service is. Okay, so on the bottom half of the divisor, we have time. So how long is it going to take? How much of their time is it going to cost? So obviously, the less time that something takes, the more valuable it is. So how can we take something and make it less time for them? Also looking at effort, how much work, how much sacrifice is it going to take on their part working with us to achieve this outcome? Again, the less effort, the more valuable it is. So these are the three knobs and levers that we're looking at as we're creating these valuable solutions. So let's look at some of the examples that Biff came up with. So for number one, people who don't like going to the gym, he thought, well, okay, I could go to your house and train with you at your house. That way you're not going to the gym. Or I could come up with some in-home video training for you, right? Solutions for that problem. For the people who they struggle to stay consistent with their diet, Biff came up with the idea of, first I'll get them a diet plan, and then I'll set them up on one of those recurring meal prep services, so now they don't have to think about it. That's going to save them time. That's going to save them effort. Another problem is they always seem to self-sabotage. Okay, for those people, well, Biff, he took a psychology course. He could create a little video course on how to overcome that self-sabotage, right? That's going to really increase their probability of not only getting that weight off, but keeping it off. So you can see we're kind of using these three to look at how can we add value to these problems? How can we solve these problems for our prospects? And I want you to go crazy here. I want you to think of everything because we're going to trim them down in the next step. So step 3, this is where we create our formula. This is where we take all the different pieces of the puzzle, all of our solutions, all the different pieces, and we create basically like a roadmap. A roadmap to get to their ideal outcome, to get to their first 1,000 followers, to get to their retirement plan, to get to, in this case, weight loss, right? We're creating that roadmap here. So I want you to start by grouping everything up, all your solutions, all your steps, start grouping them into categories. And then once you have them into categories, I want you to remove anything that is low value or anything that you don't want to include. So for an example, Biff, he's not going to include the one-to-one at-home training just because it's going to cost him too much to go to everyone's house, right? And a good rule of thumb here is anything that you can front load, anything that you can do once, or anything that you can do once per client and is still adding value, those are the kind of things that you want to really start stacking. Okay, anything that's going to cost you too much time, be a little bit more careful in it. If it's something that's super high value, then keep it in there. But if it's going to cost you a lot of time and it's kind of so as far as how much value it brings, definitely cut those type of things. Okay, so once you have that, you're going to organize it into your step-by-step process. And within each one of those steps, you want to include, what do they have to do? How does this step work? How do you solve this problem for them? So looking at Biff's example, in step 1, we're taking inventory and we're goal setting, right? We're getting ready, creating that workout plan. In step 2, we're going to nail down our diet and our supplements. So he's going to hook you up with that recurring meal prep service. He's going to create that plan for you. He's going to get you a supplement pack. In step 3, now we go to the in-gym training. This includes 2 times per week. At home, you're going to train by yourself, also 2 times per week, but he's going to give you some bite-sized videos so that you can really nail it. And then in step 5, he's going to help you lock in those habits and the mindset with his overcoming self-sabotage video training. He's also going to help you set up your morning routine and get that ticking. And finally, he has this accountability plan, which includes monthly check-ins and also the weekly Zoom calls. So you can see Biff, he's evolving now. He's going from, just giving one-to-one training sessions on the gym floor to now he has this high-value system, this high-value offering that's completely molded around that one outcome, which is weight loss, right? Instead of just one piece of the puzzle. So once you have that, we're going to move on into the final step, step 4. So this step's very important. It's our final step. We're going to look at how to package up our offer in a way that moves people to take action, that really shows the value. So we're going to do that starting in step 1, which is very important, a very important step, because it just includes so much in just one sentence. So we're going to just Mad Lib this sentence and just input your answers for each piece. So I help X customer, so who's your dream customer? Just call them out. Achieve X outcome. We've already identified what that outcome is in X amount of time. How long is it going to take them to get that? Without X fear, so what's their biggest fear or objection so that they can X emotional motivator? What's their actual true emotional motivator behind their desire? So let's look at Biff's example and then we'll break it down. So in Biff's example, I help new moms drop 20 pounds in under 60 days without ever regaining it so that they can always be the skinny friend. So let's break this down real quick. I help new moms. So right off the bat, we're calling out who is this for. Then drop 20 pounds in under 60 days. So we're calling them out and then we're dangling the number one thing that we know that they want right in front of them without ever regaining it. So we're preempting their main objection, right? In this case, they're worried that they're just going to put the weight back on, but Biff helps them overcome that with all the mindset stuff and the accountability stuff. So we're preempting that number one thing that's going to go off in their mind, like, oh, that's not going to work for me, or that's going to be too much effort, too much work, whatever. And then finally, so you can always be the skinny friend. So for someone to move forward and take action, yes, the logic needs to check out, but the emotional part is what's going to actually move them. So don't assume that they know what those emotional benefits. You want to help paint that picture of what life could be for them. So again, and we're doing all of this in under 5 seconds with this powerful sentence. Now, next, we're going to look at the offer price. So this is cool because we're no longer looking at pricing, time for money type pricing. It's more of a price for value, price for the outcome, right? So I want you to look at how much is this outcome worth for this person, right? Because we're building the whole system around a result, not just one piece of the puzzle. So don't look at how much of your hours it's going to take. Look at what is this result worth for this person. Okay, so then next we have the bonuses. So bonuses provide 2 things. First, at this point, obviously they're interested if they've seen the price, but now they're maybe a little on the fence. Am I going to move forward or not? A bonus just helps to nudge them along the buyer's journey a little more. And the more valuable that we can make these bonuses, the more valuable our core offer looks, right? Because if we have all these high value bonuses, subconsciously the person's thinking, well, what does that mean about the core thing, right? If I'm getting all of this for free. So one way to do bonuses is literally just to take things that you're already going to have in your core offer and just pluck them apart and position them as bonuses. So we're just changing the positioning. Maybe things like creating the morning routine or the weekly Zoom coaching session. So anything that kind of fits as a bonus, you could just plug it right in. And then so finally we have offer guarantee. At this point, we've given them the offer. Maybe they're still on the fence. We've had some bonuses to push them along. If they still need that nudge, the only thing that's holding them back at this point is a level of certainty, because obviously they're interested in getting this result. The only thing is they're just not quite sure, is it actually going to work for me, whatnot. So this is where a guarantee can be very powerful. And if you can't offer a guarantee, then you should probably look at tweaking your offer a little bit, because the whole point of this offer is you as the expert, you've crafted something that if they're going to follow all of these steps, they'll get the result, right? So obviously in the guarantee, we want to make sure there's the disclaimer, right, that they actually have to do it. But that is the final piece to add that level of certainty. So congrats. Now you have an awesome offer that's just going to hook clients. But really, this is actually kind of one piece of the puzzle. So this is our 6-step client attraction system, which is the most direct path to start getting new clients for your business ASAP. So in step 1, you're going to solidify your business plan and your core values, because if you don't know where you're going, you're probably not going to get there. In step 2, you get crystal clear on who your dream customer is and then craft that offer around them. So when they see it, you don't look like the best option for them, you look like the only option for them. Now in step 3, you want to set up all your systems and all your automation so that new traffic and those new leads don't just go to waste. In step 4, you want to build out all the marketing materials for your campaigns, videos, pages, PDFs, but all without having to become a content or a web genius, just by using proven templates. Now, in step 4, you're going to need an awesome email sequence and a killer sales script so that you can predictably turn those new leads into sales after nurturing them. Okay, now once you have kind of this buyer's journey that's in place, that's working, now it's time to pour some gas on it by using paid ads, right? And with using a metrics framework, you'll be able to find the holes quickly and plug those gaps so that you're able to scale up your acquisition. So if you want to get crystal clear on the exact steps you need to take to launch your irresistible offer so that you can start generating new clients and charging more in as little as 21 days, then book a call with the link below. In less than 30 minutes, we'll be able to cover what's currently holding you back and then create a custom game plan to get you on the right track. Now, this is for those who have a small coaching business, they're currently doing their own marketing, and actually care about getting their clients results. If this sounds like you, then book a call. Sound fair enough?